I had earned this, 8 years of sprinting across pitches in 40-degree heat, 8 years of getting abuse from players twice my size and smiling through it, 8 years of studying the laws of the game until I could recite them in my sleep. FIFA called my name, they gave me the badge, they put me on a flight. I landed at Miami International with my credentials, my diplomatic passport, and the letter from the most powerful football organization on earth confirming I was supposed to be here. And they turned me around at the door. The man who just told you that story is not a criminal. He is not a security threat. He is Omar Artan, the best referee in Africa in 2025, selected by FIFA to make history as the first ever Somali official at a World Cup. And what happened to him is the story that has broken football's biggest tournament open before a single ball was kicked in anger. If you want the full truth of what is happening at this 2026 World Cup, you are in the right place. Stay with us. Omar Artan is 34 years old, born in Mogadishu. He was set to become the first Somali referee to officiate at a World Cup. He had FIFA credentials, he had a diplomatic passport. He landed at Miami International Airport, was pulled aside for additional inspection, and was denied entry into the United States. Somalia is one of nearly 40 countries whose citizens face entry restrictions under the Trump administration's current immigration enforcement framework. That is the legal and political context in which a FIFA-appointed match official was turned away from the host nation of the tournament he was assigned to work. Artan became a FIFA-listed referee in 2018. In January 2024, he made history as the first Somali to officiate at AFCON, overseeing the match between Tunisia and Namibia. He had built a career across 8 years of international development. He had done everything the system asked of him. He had passed every test, cleared every standard, and earned every credential. U.S. Customs and Border Protection stated that Artan was determined to be inadmissible due to vetting concerns. No further details were provided, no explanation was offered, no pathway to appeal was announced. The decision to block a FIFA-appointed match official from entering a FIFA World Cup host nation is unprecedented in modern football history. The reaction from within the football world was immediate. Arsenal and England legend Ian Wright called it a World Cup of chaos and questioned whether the move was within the spirit of football. Added, "I feel for the American fans who are desperate for this, how embarrassing for them this must be." British Columbia Premier David Eby responded by posting on social media, "Mr. Artan would be welcomed and celebrated in British Columbia for what he's overcome and where he is today." Canada formally invited Artan to officiate matches on Canadian soil. FIFA, however, ruled it out. Referees are required to attend their training hub in Florida, and that requirement could not be waived. So Canada offered an open door, FIFA slammed it shut, and then their president opened his mouth. At his pre-tournament press conference, FIFA President Gianni Infantino was asked directly about Artan's case. His response, "It is unfortunate what happened to the referee from Somalia. Again, we don't control everything. We try, we will discuss, we will speak, we will see. Sometimes it is good to chill, relax. Consider the sequence of events behind that answer, a FIFA-appointed official. FIFA credentials, a FIFA selection process, and FIFA's president told the world to chill and relax." Infantino added, "We are not the kings of the world who can rule over governments and police forces. We are a sports organization. We try to do our best with the means that we have." That framing deserves scrutiny. FIFA chose to award the World Cup to a host nation with a travel ban covering 40 countries. FIFA embedded human rights criteria in their hosting requirements. FIFA made the promise that this tournament would be open to the world. FIFA collected the money. And when the promise collapsed at an airport immigration desk in Miami, FIFA said, "Chill. We are building something real here, a community that calls football's power structure exactly what it is. If this is the kind of coverage you came here for, hit subscribe, drop a like, and share this with someone who thinks the 2026 World Cup is just a football tournament. It isn't. And we are not even halfway through what we need to tell you. Omar Artan's story is the sharpest and most visible case, but it is not the only one. The visa and entry crisis at this tournament extends across multiple nations, multiple categories of traveler, and multiple points of failure. Iran's national team was only allowed to enter the USA 1 day before each match. No extended preparation, no early arrival to manage logistics, adapt to conditions, or settle into a routine. Iran's Football Federation reported that their official ticket allocation was pulled just days before their opener against New Zealand. At least 15 Iranian officials and support staff faced entry denials or complications. The team ultimately based itself in Tijuana, Mexico, and commuted across the border for matches. That is not a hosting arrangement, that is a workaround for a broken system. Dozens of Moroccan fans, ticket holders with documentation, were denied travel visas. 4 competing nations, Iran, Haiti, Ivory Coast, and Senegal, face restricted travel conditions that supporters of other nations do not. The 15 countries on the immigrant visa suspension list with World Cup qualifiers include Brazil, Algeria, Morocco, Colombia, Egypt, Ghana, Uruguay, and Tunisia. Human Rights Watch stated plainly that the United States has created a hostile environment for players, fans, and journalists, including documented cases of phone searches and interrogation for social media posts critical of the administration. This is the access picture surrounding a tournament that promoted itself as the most inclusive in history. And then there are the seats, the empty seats. South Korea versus Czech Republic, Estadio Akron, Guadalajara. FIFA announced the official attendance as 44,985 in a 46,000-seat venue. Broadcast footage and photographs inside the stadium showed large sections of empty seats throughout the match. FIFA's official response: the optical illusion of empty stands was due to fan behavior inside the venue and not a lack of actual ticket sales. Fan response on X was direct. One comment: "This is embarrassing." Another: "No one believes you, you are ruining football." FIFA doubled down on June 13. The official attendance is not a visual assessment of seat occupancy at a specific moment during the match. It is calculated based on the number of scanned tickets. A scanned ticket and a body in a seat are two different things, and the reason those two numbers are diverging at this tournament is not a mystery. The pricing collapse has been documented in full. Prices for 90 of 104 matches rose by an average of 34% between October 2025 and April 2026. The cheapest standard ticket to the final reached $5,785. The most expensive hit $10,990. On the resale market, final tickets were listed at nearly $33,000. When the USA, Canada, and Mexico submitted their hosting bid, a seat at the final was promised at a maximum of $1,550. That is the gap between the promise and the reality. A commitment of $1,550 became a floor price of $5,785, a 273% increase on the original ceiling. As of the opening days of the tournament, FIFA still had roughly 180,000 unsold seats across host cities. Even the USMNT opener against Paraguay had over 4,400 unsold seats listed on official channels. Attorneys general in California, New Jersey, New York, and Texas have all launched formal investigations into FIFA's pricing practices. That is a legal response in 4 separate U.S. states to what ticket buyers experienced when they tried to attend a tournament that was supposed to be accessible. There is one more layer to this. It sits underneath everything else. It connects the empty seats, the banned referee, and the broken ticket promises to a single defining detail about how this tournament was designed and who it was designed for. FIFA introduced mandatory 3-minute hydration breaks in each half for matches in extreme heat, a direct player welfare response to documented dangerous conditions at certain host venues. Queen's University Belfast warned as early as January 2025 that wet bulb globe temperatures in certain host cities were higher than Qatar in winter, the tournament that drew sustained global criticism for its heat conditions. FIFPro, the Global Players Union, stated publicly that 3 minutes is medically insufficient to rehydrate in extreme heat. Players signed a public letter demanding stronger protocols. FIFA had already staged the Club World Cup in these same venues the previous summer as a rehearsal. The result: 6 weather-related delays in the first 50 matches. The risk was documented. The evidence was on record. The players had made their position clear. And then FIFA made those mandatory health breaks available as commercial inventory for broadcasters. A mandated medical timeout, sold to advertisers, in the same motion. That single decision, a health break that is also an ad break, tells you everything about who this tournament was built for. A professor of sport and former professional described this as a World Cup of exclusion. Every specific case at this tournament proves that framing correct. The referee, who earned his place through 8 years of international development, cleared every FIFA standard, received his appointment in writing, and was turned away at an airport immigration desk. The fans who purchased tickets with documentation and could not get visas. The national team commuting from Mexico to play in the tournament they qualified for on merit. The near 46,000-seat stadium with large visible sections of empty seats while FIFA announced near-capacity attendance. The heat breaks that became commercial inventory. The ticket pricing that broke a written promise made to millions of supporters. This is the most teams ever, 48 nations. The most matches ever, 104. The most revenue ever, $11 billion projected, and more people unable to attend than perhaps any modern edition of the tournament. Those 4 numbers belong in the same sentence. They are not contradictions, they are the point. FIFA's president told the world to chill and relax. The fans who built this game, who saved up for years to be in these stadiums, who could not get a visa, who watched a referee get turned away at the door, they are not going to chill. And neither are we. What concerns you most about what is happening off the pitch at this World Cup? Drop it in the comments below. Every response gets read. If you enjoy real football journalism like this, you'll like what's coming next.